Life doesn't always go as planned, and challenges can make it feel overwhelming. Most people react to problems with doubt, fear, or frustration, which keeps them stuck and prevents progress. This audiobook is about changing that. It's about learning how to act with confidence and focus, even when the outcome is uncertain. You will discover practical ways to approach each day with optimism, build resilience, and create habits that support growth. You'll learn how to face fear, stay disciplined, and recover from setbacks quickly. This audiobook shows you how to focus on what you can control, take consistent action, and keep moving forward even when life feels uncertain. Through actionable guidance, you will learn how to train your mind, manage stress, and make better decisions. You'll see how daily choices, no matter how small, compound into meaningful progress over time. You'll also explore how to strengthen relationships, seize opportunities, and stay committed to personal growth. By the end, you'll understand how to approach life with a mindset that expects success and handles challenges calmly. You will gain tools that let you act decisively, maintain emotional control, and build routines that carry you forward through every difficulty. Stay with this audiobook, apply the steps, and you will learn how to navigate life with confidence, handle setbacks without losing direction, and act as if everything always works out. This approach will transform how you think, feel, and live every day. Chapter 1. Choose optimism and create small daily habits for success. The way life unfolds is rarely in straight lines. Some days move smoothly. Others hit us hard and shake our confidence. But the people who seem to rise above life's storms don't necessarily have it easier. They have trained their minds to respond differently. They have chosen optimism, not blind positivity, but a calm, grounded belief that things can work out if they stay disciplined, focused, and patient. Optimism is not a denial of pain. It's a decision to see beyond it. It's a mindset that whispers, even when everything seems uncertain, I can still make something good from this. When you begin to understand that optimism is a practice, not a personality trait, everything changes. You stop waiting to feel positive and start building habits that support a positive mind. This shift is what separates dreamers from doers. Most people hope that one day things will get better. The optimistic person believes that today's actions, no matter how small, can start making them better right now. The difference may sound subtle, but it changes everything about how you live, think, and work. The truth is, your brain is wired to notice what it repeats. If every day you tell yourself life is too hard, you'll train your mind to see only hardship. If you start your day with one small act of gratitude or progress, your brain begins to look for more reasons to feel strong and capable. The mind becomes what it consumes, and the quality of your daily habits determines the quality of your perspective. Choosing optimism does not mean ignoring problems. It means approaching them with clarity and composure. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that external events are neutral. It's our interpretation that gives them power. When something unexpected happens, an optimistic person asks, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this?" A pessimistic person asks, "Why me?" Both face the same situation, but only one moves forward with strength. The more you train yourself to ask better questions, the more resilient your mind becomes. The first step toward lasting optimism is awareness. Notice the small moments that drain your energy. It could be complaining about traffic, comparing your progress with others, or repeating negative self-talk. Each time you catch yourself in those moments, pause and redirect your thoughts. Instead of saying, "This always happens to me," try, "I'm learning how to handle this better." That one sentence can shift the entire tone of your day. Over time, this awareness builds confidence, and confidence builds optimism. Small daily habits are the foundation that supports this mindset. Big changes rarely come from big leaps. They grow from quiet, consistent actions repeated over time. A simple morning routine, like waking up 5 minutes earlier, drinking water before coffee, or taking a short walk before checking your phone, can set the tone for the entire day. The power is not in the habit itself, but in what it represents. It tells your mind, "I am in control of how I start my day," and that control, no matter how small, creates stability and strength. You don't have to rebuild your entire life in one day. The secret is in starting small. Pick 1 or 2 habits that reinforce a sense of calm and progress. Maybe you write down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe you read 1 page of a meaningful book. Maybe you spend 5 quiet minutes reflecting on your goals. These acts may seem too small to matter, but their consistency builds momentum. Over time, they shape your self-image. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who grows, someone who chooses peace over panic. People often underestimate how much energy is wasted on negativity. Complaining, doubting, and overthinking all drain mental strength. Optimism restores it. When you consciously look for what is good, even when life is not easy, you strengthen your emotional muscles. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means remembering that challenges can hold lessons and that pain can lead to wisdom if you face it with the right mindset. Each morning, you can either replay yesterday's disappointments or look forward to today's opportunities. One path keeps you stuck. The other moves you closer to growth. Discipline plays a major role in optimism. It's hard to stay positive when your actions are inconsistent. If your habits are scattered, your emotions will follow. That's why structure is freedom. Having a few reliable routines creates stability in uncertain times. You know that no matter what happens outside of you, there are things you can control: your morning, your focus, your effort. That stability is what gives optimism its strength. You're not hoping life works out, you're preparing for it to. For example, if your mornings usually feel rushed and stressful, you can start by organizing the night before. Lay out your clothes. Prepare your breakfast. Write down your top priorities. When morning comes, you begin calmly instead of reactively. That small change doesn't just save time, it sends a message to your brain that you are capable of creating order in your life. And that message, repeated daily, forms the foundation of optimism. You realize that you are not a victim of chaos, you are the designer of your experience. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review what went well and what could improve. Ask yourself, did I handle challenges with patience? Did I give my best effort? Did I learn something useful today? This reflection keeps your growth visible. It prevents your progress from fading into the noise of routine. When you see that you are improving, even slightly, optimism becomes natural. You stop questioning whether change is possible because you have proof that it already is. The habit of reflection also teaches humility. It reminds you that growth is not about perfection but consistency. You'll have days when you lose focus or slip into negativity. That's okay. Optimism is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. Each time you return to your habits after a setback, you reinforce your belief in yourself. You prove that you can recover, and that recovery builds strength. Over time, this creates a quiet confidence that no external event can take away. Another vital part of choosing optimism is the environment you create around yourself. The people you spend time with shape your mindset. If you surround yourself with negativity, fear, or gossip, it becomes harder to stay grounded. But when you spend time with people who focus on growth, gratitude, and solutions, their energy uplifts you. Guard your attention carefully. What you read, watch, and listen to influences your perspective. Choose content that strengthens your peace, not anxiety. Feed your mind like you feed your body. Choose what nourishes. Building small daily habits is also about self-respect. Each action says, I value my time, my mind, and my potential. You don't need to wait for motivation to begin. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. When you show up consistently, even on low-energy days, your brain learns that effort is normal. That repetition is what rewires your behavior from procrastination to discipline. Soon, the things that once felt difficult become automatic. You no longer fight yourself to do the right thing. It simply becomes who you are. Morning habits set the direction, but evening habits seal the growth. Before sleeping, slow down your mind. Avoid screens. Write down one good thing that happened that day, no matter how small. It could be a kind word, a completed task, or a moment of calm. This simple act shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. Your brain processes that information overnight, reinforcing positive neural pathways. When you wake up, you feel lighter, more centered, more capable. The day feels like a new beginning rather than a repeat of old struggles. Optimism grows stronger when paired with gratitude. Gratitude trains your brain to notice value in the ordinary. The warmth of sunlight, the taste of a meal, the voice of someone you care about. These are not small things. They are reminders that life still offers beauty, even during difficulty. Gratitude does not erase hardship, but it softens it. It helps you stay connected to the parts of life that are still good, even when not everything is. Over time, this mindset helps you handle stress with more balance and respond to life with more patience. There's a quiet power in choosing optimism each day. It's not loud or flashy, it's steady. It grows through simple acts done with intention. Waking up early, writing goals, taking care of your body, practicing kindness, staying organized, keeping your word. These actions build a foundation that success can stand on. People often look for grand strategies, but greatness usually hides in these small, consistent choices. When you master the basics, your life naturally begins to align. The connection between optimism and action is what sustains momentum. Thinking positively without action leads to frustration. Acting without optimism leads to burnout. Balance both. Believe things can improve, then take the smallest step that proves it. Clean your workspace, write one page. Go for a short run. Send that message you've been avoiding. Each action is a declaration of faith that your efforts matter. Over time, these moments build an unshakable mindset. I may not control everything, but I control how I show up. One challenge many people face is staying consistent when motivation fades. The truth is, motivation will always fluctuate. What keeps you moving is discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. But it doesn't have to be harsh. Discipline can be gentle, steady, compassionate. It's the voice that says, do a little bit today, even if it's not perfect. That approach keeps progress sustainable. Optimism and discipline feed each other. The more consistent you are, the more optimistic you feel, because you see proof that you can rely on yourself. Your internal dialogue plays a huge role in this process. Pay attention to the way you speak to yourself. Replace harsh criticism with constructive language. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, I'm learning how to improve. Words carry power. The tone you use with yourself determines how you recover from mistakes. A kind mind is a strong mind. When you treat yourself with patience, your motivation lasts longer and your resilience deepens. Optimism thrives in environments of self-compassion. Life will always test your optimism. You will face days that challenge your beliefs, where everything feels uncertain. In those moments, remember that optimism is not about pretending, it's about persistence. Tell yourself, this situation will not define me, my response will. Each challenge is a chance to prove your strength, to grow your patience, and to practice faith in your own ability to adapt. When you hold that mindset, setbacks lose their power. They become steps, not stops. As days pass, these small habits compound. One positive morning becomes a week of clarity. One act of gratitude becomes a habit of appreciation. One day of self-discipline becomes a month of progress. Consistency turns optimism from an idea into an identity. You start to feel grounded, calm, confident. Your relationships improve. Your focus sharpens. You feel capable of handling whatever life brings, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. The deeper truth behind optimism is ownership. When you choose optimism, you are taking responsibility for your perspective. You are saying, I decide how I see this moment. That decision gives you freedom. It means you're no longer waiting for the world to give you permission to feel okay. You create that peace yourself through thought, action, and habit. Every day you have that power. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. Real success is not measured by how perfect your days look, but by how often you show up despite imperfection. The small habits that support optimism are not glamorous, but they are transformative. They give you structure in chaos, direction in confusion, and strength in doubt. When you build them into your life, you begin to notice something profound. Everything does start to work out, not magically, but gradually, through patience and effort. The world reflects what you repeatedly give to it. So when you wake up tomorrow, start small. Choose one habit that brings order to your day. Decide that you will face what comes with a steady heart. Speak kindly to yourself. Focus on what you can control. Trust that consistency builds change. You don't need to know how everything will unfold. You just need to keep showing up as someone who believes it will. That belief alone changes the way you move, think, and create. Over time, optimism becomes your baseline, not your exception. It becomes the quiet strength behind every decision, the calm voice in the middle of noise. And when people ask how you stay grounded, you'll realize it wasn't luck or talent. It was choice. You chose to believe that everything can work out, not because life is easy, but because you learned how to meet it with courage, patience, and discipline. That's the real magic of optimism. It's not fantasy, it's mastery. The mastery of your mind, your habits, and your focus. When you choose optimism and create small daily habits for success, you stop waiting for life to get better and start making it better. And that single decision, the choice to act as if everything always works out, becomes the quiet force that shapes everything that follows. Chapter 2. Build resilience by facing fear, practicing discipline, and recovering. Resilience is the quiet strength that keeps you moving when everything inside you wants to stop. It's not built in easy times. It's shaped in the moments when life feels uncertain, heavy, or unfair. Every person who has ever achieved lasting peace or success has faced times when quitting seemed easier. What separates them from the rest is their willingness to face fear, stay disciplined, and recover when things fall apart. Resilience isn't a gift, it's a skill. It grows stronger every time you decide to keep going despite the discomfort. Fear is often the first barrier to growth. It appears in many forms: fear of failure, rejection, judgment, or the unknown. The natural instinct is to run from it, to hide behind excuses or distractions. But growth only happens when you confront what scares you. When you face fear head-on, you begin to understand that it's rarely as dangerous as your mind makes it seem. Most of the time, fear is anticipation without evidence, a story your mind tells before reality unfolds. Once you take action, that story starts to lose power. You realize that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward while feeling it. The moment you face fear directly, you start to reclaim your power. Each time you act despite hesitation, your confidence grows. You begin to trust your ability to handle discomfort. Whether it's speaking your truth, making a difficult decision, or starting something uncertain, every act of courage strengthens your mental foundation. Resilient people aren't fearless, they simply practice facing fear until it becomes familiar. The more you practice it, the smaller fear becomes. What used to paralyze you turns into a challenge you're willing to meet. Discipline is the second pillar of resilience. It's the bridge between intention and reality. Without it, even the strongest motivation fades. Discipline means doing what matters, not just what feels good in the moment. It's waking up when you'd rather sleep in, following through when the excitement is gone, and staying steady when results take time. It's about holding yourself accountable to the standards you've set, even when no one else is watching. Discipline is not punishment, it's a form of self-respect. It says, "My goals are worth my effort." When you practice discipline consistently, you start to see life differently. You stop relying on mood or inspiration to take action. Instead, you build structure that supports your growth. You understand that every small step counts. You don't need perfection, just consistency. Even on bad days, you can take one meaningful action. You can read one page, exercise for 10 minutes, or complete one task that moves you forward. Those moments add up. They teach you to stay focused under pressure and calm under chaos. Over time, discipline becomes your anchor, keeping you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. The connection between fear and discipline is what builds true resilience. Fear challenges your courage. Discipline strengthens your endurance. Together, they prepare you for recovery, the third and most overlooked part of resilience. Recovery is not about giving up. It's about restoring your strength so you can continue. Without recovery, even the most disciplined person eventually burns out. Resilience is not constant struggle, it's balance. You push when it's time to grow and rest when it's time to heal. That rhythm keeps you sustainable and sharp. Recovery is about awareness. It's knowing when to pause, reflect, and realign. When you face a setback, instead of labeling it as failure, look for the lesson hidden inside it. Ask yourself what it's teaching you about patience, preparation, or perspective. Every difficulty has something to reveal if you approach it with curiosity instead of frustration. When you shift your mindset from blame to learning, you grow wiser and calmer. The same challenge that once broke your spirit becomes the reason you become stronger. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience is through controlled discomfort. This means deliberately stepping into small challenges every day to strengthen your tolerance for stress. It could be waking up earlier than usual, finishing a hard workout, or tackling a task you've been avoiding. These small acts build emotional stamina. They train your mind to stay steady when life gets hard. The more you voluntarily face discomfort, the more capable you feel when real challenges appear. You stop running from pressure and start using it to grow. Resilient people understand that setbacks are temporary, not defining. They see failure as feedback, not final judgment. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and try again. They understand that progress is rarely linear. It's built through repetition and refinement. Each recovery makes them more adaptable. When something unexpected happens, they don't panic. They respond with calmness, knowing they've handled hard things before. This kind of composure is not luck. It's trained through experience. Another key part of resilience is your relationship with your thoughts. The stories you tell yourself in difficult times can either strengthen or weaken you. When something goes wrong, it's easy to spiral into self-criticism or hopelessness, but you can train your mind to respond differently. Instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," try, "I've been through hard things before, and I can adapt again." This shift may seem small, but it changes your emotional state. It replaces panic with perspective. Resilience begins in thought before it shows in action. Emotional regulation is a skill every resilient person masters. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. When anger, disappointment, or fear rise, pause. Take a deep breath before reacting. Observe what you feel without letting it consume you. This space between emotion and reaction is where strength lives. It allows you to choose responses that align with your values instead of temporary emotions. Over time, this control builds confidence. You learn that you don't need to be controlled by circumstances. You can control your state within them. Self-discipline and recovery also require compassion. Many people push themselves so hard that they forget to rest. But resilience doesn't mean running on empty. It means knowing your limits and honoring them. Resting when needed is not weakness, it's wisdom. Sleep, reflection, and solitude are powerful tools for rebuilding focus. When your mind is rested, you think clearly and make better decisions. A clear mind solves problems faster than a tired one. Recovery keeps your strength consistent, allowing you to perform without collapse. Physical habits play a large role in resilience too. Your body and mind are connected. Regular movement, healthy food, and hydration create mental clarity and emotional balance. Exercise is not just about fitness, it's a form of mental training. When you push through physical discomfort, your brain learns perseverance. When you maintain a healthy routine, your energy supports your discipline. Taking care of your body is an act of preparation. It ensures that when life tests you, you have the endurance to respond effectively. Resilience also grows through purpose. When you know why you're doing something, you can endure almost anything. Purpose gives pain meaning. It reminds you that challenges are part of something larger. If your why is strong enough, no obstacle feels permanent. Write down what matters most to you, your values, goals, or mission, and revisit them when you feel lost. That clarity will pull you forward when motivation fades. It keeps you centered and strong even when things don't go your way. Facing fear and practicing discipline don't eliminate struggle, they transform how you experience it. You begin to see every hardship as training. Each obstacle is an opportunity to test your patience, your consistency, and your belief in yourself. Instead of being overwhelmed, you start asking, What is this moment trying to teach me? That question changes frustration into focus. It keeps you grounded when life feels unstable. Over time, you stop avoiding challenges because you know they make you sharper. Resilience is a lifelong skill built through repetition, reflection, and recovery. It's not something you wake up with one day. It's something you earn by facing what others avoid. Every time you get back up after being knocked down, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you act with discipline despite fatigue, you grow tougher. Every time you rest with intention instead of guilt, you build endurance. Together, these moments form a mindset that cannot be easily broken. Fear may never disappear completely, but your response to it can evolve. You may not always feel ready, but readiness comes from action, not waiting. The more you act, the more prepared you become. Discipline ensures that you keep showing up, and recovery ensures that you can keep going. When these three forces, courage, consistency, and balance, work together, you develop an inner strength that nothing can take away. Life stops feeling like a series of battles and starts feeling like a process of growth. Resilience is not loud. It's not about appearing strong. It's about staying steady when no one is watching. It's the calm breath before a difficult task. It's the quiet decision to try again after failure. It's the patience to rebuild when everything falls apart. Over time, these moments define who you become. You learn to move through fear with grace, maintain discipline with peace, and recover with intention. And eventually, you realize that resilience is not about surviving, it's about becoming better through every challenge you face. Chapter 30: Practice gratitude daily to rewire focus toward positive outcomes. Gratitude changes the way the mind sees life. It doesn't remove challenges or erase pain, but it shifts your attention from what is missing to what is present. When you practice gratitude daily, your brain begins to rewire itself to focus on what's working instead of what's broken. You start noticing the quiet moments of peace that often go unseen: the sunlight through your window, the voice of someone you care about, the food on your plate, the air you breathe. These moments exist every day, but most people overlook them because their attention is trapped in what they don't have. Gratitude breaks that pattern. It teaches you to recognize that even in ordinary days, there is value, stability, and hope. The practice of gratitude is not a reaction to good times, it's a choice made in all conditions. Anyone can feel grateful when everything is easy. True gratitude begins when life tests you. It is the mindset that says, even though things aren't perfect, there's still something here to appreciate. This simple recognition changes your internal state. It softens frustration, eases anxiety, and brings balance to emotional storms. Over time, gratitude becomes a stabilizing force, grounding you when everything around you feels uncertain. It is the act of finding light without waiting for darkness to disappear. The mind naturally gravitates toward problems because it is wired for survival. It constantly scans for danger, mistakes, and imperfections. While this instinct once protected us, it now often causes unnecessary stress. Gratitude retrains that instinct. When you take a few minutes each day to focus on what's going right, you shift from a state of alertness to one of awareness. Instead of scanning for threats, your mind begins to search for meaning. This shift reduces tension and increases clarity. It doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you choose to see the full picture, not just the struggle. One of the simplest ways to start practicing gratitude is by writing down 3 things you appreciate every day. They don't have to be big or dramatic. The goal isn't to impress anyone. It's to remind yourself that goodness still exists in your life. Maybe you're thankful for your health, a moment of laughter, or the ability to start fresh. As you do this consistently, something powerful happens. Your awareness expands. You begin to see small blessings in moments that used to feel ordinary. You start noticing that the more grateful you are, the more peaceful you feel. The benefits of gratitude extend far beyond emotion. Scientifically, it reduces cortisol levels, improves sleep, and strengthens immune function. But beyond biology, it improves how you treat yourself and others. When you are grateful, you become more patient, more understanding, and more forgiving. You stop expecting perfection from yourself and from life. Gratitude humbles the ego and opens the heart. It helps you replace complaint with acceptance and criticism with appreciation. Over time, this mindset changes not only how you see the world, but also how you show up in it. To make gratitude truly transformative, it has to be more than a thought. It must become a daily habit. Set aside a small moment in your morning or evening routine to reflect. You can write it, speak it, or think it quietly. What matters is consistency. The repetition rewires your brain's focus. Each day you practice, you are strengthening the neural pathways that seek out positive meaning. Slowly, your emotional baseline rises. You find calm more easily. You recover faster from disappointments. You start to notice that problems no longer control your mood because your attention is trained to find balance in every experience. Practicing gratitude also deepens your sense of connection with others. When you regularly acknowledge what you value in people, whether it's their kindness, their patience, or their support, you strengthen relationships. Expressing appreciation reminds people that their presence matters. Gratitude builds trust, and trust builds peace. In a world where negativity spreads quickly, gratitude acts as an antidote. It quiets comparison, replaces resentment with understanding, and reminds you that everyone carries their own story. When you look for what's good in others, you stop seeing them as competition and start seeing them as companions in the human experience. Even during difficult times, gratitude can be a lifeline. When life feels overwhelming, take a moment to ask yourself, what can I still be thankful for right now? The answer may be simple: a friend who checked in, the fact that you are still breathing, the strength to keep going. Gratitude during hardship doesn't deny the pain. It acknowledges that even in struggle, not everything is lost. That realization brings perspective. It turns chaos into clarity. It helps you remember that no situation is ever completely dark when you can still recognize one small light. Gratitude also fuels motivation. When you recognize what you already have, you stop chasing validation from external things. You start working from fulfillment instead of emptiness. This inner contentment gives you calm energy. You act because you choose to, not because you're trying to fill a void. Gratitude helps you see that progress is a privilege, not a punishment. You stop rushing to the next milestone and begin appreciating the process itself. The more grateful you are for the journey, the less anxious you become about the destination. Another powerful practice is turning frustration into gratitude. Whenever you catch yourself complaining, pause and find one small thing to appreciate in that moment. If you're stuck in traffic, you can be grateful for the music playing or the time to think. If work feels stressful, you can be thankful that you have skills others trust you to use. If a relationship is difficult, you can still appreciate the lesson it's teaching you about patience or communication. This habit trains your mind to reframe discomfort into growth. Gratitude transforms obstacles into opportunities for awareness. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Soon, gratitude doesn't require effort. It becomes your default lens. You wake up aware of the gift of another day. You go to sleep knowing that no matter what happened, there was still something good. This kind of mindset doesn't make you naive, it makes you strong. It keeps your emotions balanced and your focus clear. Life still has problems, but they no longer dominate your attention. You begin to understand that happiness isn't built from having everything, it's built from appreciating enough. Gratitude also helps you stay present. The mind often lives in the past or future, replaying mistakes or worrying about what's next. Gratitude anchors you in now. When you feel appreciation for this exact moment, your mind quiets. You stop rushing, stop comparing, stop wishing things were different. You experience peace because you are fully aware of where you are. This awareness brings emotional clarity and steadiness. You realize that much of your suffering wasn't caused by circumstances, it was caused by losing sight of what's already good. When you combine gratitude with self-awareness, your decision-making improves. You stop reacting from fear or scarcity and start responding with calm reasoning. Gratitude helps you make choices from a place of enoughness instead of desperation. You see options where before you saw limitations. This creates confidence and creativity. When your focus is on what's possible instead of what's missing, you naturally attract better outcomes. Your energy changes, and so do your results. Gratitude and optimism work together in a powerful cycle. Gratitude creates optimism, and optimism strengthens gratitude. When you expect good things, you begin to notice them more often. This is not blind hope, it's psychological alignment. You are training your brain to recognize possibilities that were always there but hidden beneath worry. When you focus on gratitude daily, you build an emotional habit that protects your peace even during chaos. You start living from abundance instead of lack, from calm instead of craving. It's also important to extend gratitude toward yourself. Many people find it easy to thank others, but difficult to appreciate their own effort. Take moments to acknowledge the ways you've grown, the habits you've maintained, and the strength you've shown in hard times. Gratitude nurtures self-respect. It reminds you that you are progressing even if results are not yet visible. When you treat yourself with appreciation, you build inner confidence that no external approval can replace. Gratitude is not a one-time exercise, it's a lifestyle. It influences how you speak, how you work, and how you handle stress. It helps you enjoy life even while you build a better one. The more you practice it, the more you see how powerful your focus truly is. Life doesn't suddenly become perfect, but your perception transforms. The same challenges that once made you feel defeated now become manageable because you have trained your mind to see balance, not extremes. Every day offers a new chance to practice gratitude. Each morning you wake up is proof that life is still giving you another opportunity to try again. Every breath is evidence of potential. Gratitude reminds you that you already have more than enough to begin again, to heal, to grow. And as you live this truth daily, you begin to notice a quiet peace that stays with you, a peace not dependent on external circumstances, but born from awareness and appreciation. That peace becomes your strength, and that strength becomes your way of living. Chapter 40. Design clear goals with small steps and measurable progress. Clarity gives direction to every form of progress. Without it, even the hardest work loses focus and energy. Designing clear goals is about giving your life structure, a map that turns wishes into achievable steps. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because their goals are vague. They say they want to be successful, happy, or confident, but they never define what that actually looks like in daily life. A goal without definition becomes a dream that fades with time. Real progress begins when you decide what you want, why it matters, and what specific actions will bring it to life. When you create a clear goal, you give your mind something concrete to aim for. The brain thrives on structure and clarity. It performs best when it knows what success looks like. Vague intentions create confusion, but measurable targets build motivation. Instead of saying, "I want to get healthier," you could say, "I will walk 30 minutes 5 times a week." Instead of saying, "I want to be productive," you could say, "I will complete my top 3 priorities before noon." These small, clear statements create direction. They transform effort into purpose. Setting goals should always start with vision. Take time to understand what kind of life you truly want to live. Ask yourself what success means to you, not what the world expects from you. Write it down. The act of putting thoughts into words makes them real. Once you have that vision, break it into parts. A large goal should always be divided into small, practical steps that you can act on daily or weekly. This process prevents overwhelm and helps you focus on one stage at a time. The key is momentum, progress measured in consistent movement, not giant leaps. Progress builds confidence, and confidence fuels persistence. That's why measurable steps matter so much. When you track your actions, you can see how far you've come, even when results are not yet visible. A simple notebook, a digital tracker, or a daily checklist can keep you accountable. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Every time you check off a completed task, you give your brain a reward. This creates a positive feedback loop that encourages continued effort. It's proof that you're moving forward. The process of designing goals also requires honesty. You have to recognize where you are right now. Many people avoid this step because it forces them to face uncomfortable truths. But clarity begins with honesty. If you want to grow, you must see your current habits clearly, the good and the bad. Awareness gives you the power to make real adjustments. From there, set goals that are realistic for your current stage, but challenging enough to push you. A goal that's too easy creates boredom, while one that's too extreme creates burnout. Balance both by focusing on sustainable progress. Another powerful aspect of goal design is defining your why. Knowing why a goal matters gives it emotional weight. It turns effort into meaning. If you know the purpose behind your actions, it becomes easier to stay committed when motivation fades. For example, you might not always want to exercise, but if your why is to have energy to play with your children or live longer in good health, that reason gives your actions strength. Every meaningful goal is powered by a personal reason that keeps you grounded. Without it, discipline eventually fades. Each small step you take toward your goals builds self-trust. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. That trust becomes one of the most powerful motivators for growth. Many people lose momentum because they don't believe their efforts matter. But every habit, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of your future. Reading for 10 minutes, saving a small amount of money, or practicing a new skill for a few minutes a day may not feel significant, but these actions compound over time. The results appear slowly, then suddenly. Measurable progress also helps you adjust your strategy. When you track your actions, you can identify what's working and what isn't. If something isn't bringing you closer to your goal, you can pivot without losing focus. This approach transforms failure into feedback. It removes the emotional weight of mistakes and replaces it with logic. Instead of giving up, you analyze and refine. This is how true improvement happens, through observation, reflection, and adaptation. The goal is never to be perfect. It's to be a little better each day than you were before. Consistency matters more than intensity. It's better to take small, steady steps every day than to make huge efforts followed by long pauses. Consistency builds rhythm. It trains your mind to see progress as normal. When you make your goals part of your routine, they stop feeling like obligations and start becoming habits. Once a goal becomes a habit, it no longer requires as much willpower, it flows naturally. That's when progress accelerates, because you're no longer fighting resistance every day. Creating small steps also helps you stay focused on the present. Big goals can feel distant, and that distance can create frustration. When you divide them into small daily actions, you bring your attention to what you can do right now. For instance, if your long-term goal is to write a book, your daily goal could be to write 500 words. If your goal is to improve your health, your daily action could be to cook one nutritious meal. When you stay grounded in immediate action, the future takes care of itself. Another vital part of goal design is celebrating progress. Many people skip this because they believe celebration is a distraction, but recognizing effort reinforces motivation. Take time to acknowledge small wins. They are proof of your discipline and progress. Celebrating doesn't mean stopping. It means pausing to appreciate how far you've come before continuing forward. Gratitude and recognition turn hard work into fulfillment. They remind you that growth is happening even if perfection isn't. Your environment also influences your ability to reach goals. Surround yourself with reminders of what you're working toward. It could be a note on your mirror, a journal entry, or a photo that represents your vision. Small cues keep your goals visible and alive in your awareness. Likewise, spend time with people who respect your discipline and share your values. Supportive energy helps you stay committed during difficult days. Protect your focus by removing distractions that pull your attention away from what truly matters. One mistake many people make is trying to chase multiple goals at once. Focus creates strength. It's better to master one area before expanding into another. When you spread your energy too thin, progress slows in every direction. Prioritize what matters most in this season of your life. Commit fully to that one direction, and you'll move faster and more effectively. Once momentum builds, you can expand your focus with the confidence and structure you've developed. Designing clear goals is also about alignment. Your goals should reflect your values. If you set goals based on comparison or external pressure, you will lose interest quickly. But when your goals reflect what truly matters to you, the effort becomes fulfilling. Ask yourself whether your current pursuits align with your deeper purpose. If they don't, adjust them. True success is not about reaching every goal but reaching the right ones. Progress is a journey of patience. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Those moments are not wasted, they are part of the process. Growth is happening quietly beneath the surface. The key is to keep showing up. When frustration arises, remind yourself that consistency always compounds. Every day you practice discipline, you're building resilience and confidence, even if you can't yet see the results. As you continue to measure progress, you'll notice that the act of tracking itself becomes motivating. It turns invisible effort into visible proof. Whether you use a chart, journal, or digital app, the visual record of your progress reinforces belief in yourself. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. Seeing evidence of improvement strengthens your commitment. It reminds you that what you're doing matters, that every small step is bringing you closer to the life you're designing. Eventually, you realize that goal setting is not just about achieving outcomes, it's about shaping character. The daily discipline, the patience, the reflection, and the adjustments you make along the way become the real reward. You start the process to reach a specific milestone, but you end up transforming who you are. Every small victory rewrites your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries, you see yourself as someone who follows through. Designing clear goals, taking small steps, and measuring progress create more than external success. They create inner stability. They build a life that feels intentional, balanced, and meaningful. You stop drifting and start directing your own path. And as you stay committed to steady, measurable growth, you begin to see that every moment of discipline is shaping a stronger, more capable version of you. That awareness becomes your quiet motivation, guiding you forward one step at a time toward a life built not on chance, but on clear design and conscious action. Chapter 5: Commit to learning every day and apply lessons instantly. Learning is the foundation of continuous growth. Every day offers lessons, yet many people move through life repeating the same mistakes because they fail to reflect, absorb, and apply what they learn. Real learning is not about collecting information, it's about transformation. It changes how you think, how you act, and how you see the world. When you commit to learning every day, you keep your mind open, flexible, and alive. You stop living on autopilot and start living with awareness. The goal is not to know everything, but to keep improving through curiosity and consistent application. Each day brings experiences that can teach you something if you're willing to pay attention. The people you meet, the challenges you face, the feedback you receive, all of these moments hold value. Wisdom is built through observation. When you slow down and analyze your experiences, you begin to notice patterns in your decisions, your emotions, and your habits. These insights help you make better choices moving forward. Growth is not a single moment of enlightenment. It's a daily practice of awareness followed by adjustment. Committing to daily learning starts with humility. You must be willing to accept that you don't have all the answers. Many people stop growing because pride convinces them they already know enough. The moment you believe there's nothing more to learn, your progress stops. A humble mindset keeps you teachable. It allows you to learn from anyone, whether it's a mentor, a child, or a stranger. Every person you encounter has experienced something you haven't. When you listen deeply and observe carefully, you discover lessons that can improve your understanding of life and people. Information alone is not enough. What transforms learning into wisdom is application. You can read every book, watch every lecture, and listen to every podcast, but until you practice what you learn, knowledge remains theory. Real learning happens when you test ideas in real life. If you read about patience, practice it in traffic or during a disagreement. If you study communication, apply it by speaking with clarity and empathy in your next conversation. The faster you apply a lesson, the more deeply it becomes part of you. Application turns understanding into skill. To make learning a daily habit, Create a system that fits naturally into your life. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can dedicate a few minutes each morning or evening to study something meaningful. Read a few pages from a thoughtful book, listen to an educational podcast, or review your day for lessons learned. What matters is consistency. Even small moments of learning each day accumulate into significant growth over time. The goal is not volume but depth, understanding something well enough to use it effectively. Curiosity fuels daily learning. When you remain curious, every situation becomes interesting. Instead of reacting with frustration when something goes wrong, you can ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" This simple question shifts your mindset from judgment to exploration. Curiosity removes defensiveness and opens space for understanding. It turns obstacles into teachers. When you stay curious, you approach life with openness instead of fear. You stop labeling experiences as good or bad and start seeing them as opportunities for insight. Learning also requires intention. You must choose what kind of knowledge aligns with your goals and values. There's endless information available, but not all of it is useful. Choose to focus on subjects that improve your character, skills, or understanding of yourself and others. Learning for entertainment can be enjoyable, but learning for improvement is transformative. The purpose is not to impress anyone, but to refine your mind and actions so you can live more effectively. Reflection is another essential part of growth. After learning something new, take time to think about how it applies to your life. Ask yourself how you can use it today, not someday. Reflection helps bridge the gap between theory and practice. It also reinforces memory. When you write down what you've learned and how you've applied it, the lesson becomes anchored in your thinking. A simple journal or note can capture insights that might otherwise fade. Over time, reviewing your reflections reveals how far you've grown. The process of applying lessons instantly builds confidence. Many people hesitate to act because they wait for the perfect moment or complete understanding. But true mastery comes from action, not waiting. You learn more from 1 hour of experience than from weeks of theory. Every time you apply something new, you test your understanding, identify gaps, and refine your skills. This feedback loop accelerates growth. It reminds you that progress is built on practice, not perfection. Commitment to daily learning also improves adaptability. The world changes quickly, and those who keep learning stay prepared. When you train your mind to adapt, you stop resisting change. You become flexible instead of fearful. Whether it's a new technology, a shift in your career, or an unexpected life event, a learning mindset allows you to adjust smoothly. You no longer see change as a threat but as an invitation to evolve. That mindset gives you stability even when circumstances are uncertain. Learning from failure is one of the most valuable practices you can develop. Mistakes are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of effort. Each one holds a lesson if you take time to study it. When something doesn't go as planned, ask what you could have done differently. Avoid blaming others or yourself. Focus on understanding. The faster you extract lessons from failure, the faster you grow. Over time, this habit removes fear from mistakes. You stop dreading them because you know they're part of learning. Daily learning also strengthens discipline. It requires focus and commitment to keep improving even when no one is watching. When you make learning a priority, you start structuring your time differently. You become intentional about how you use each hour. You spend less time on distractions and more on activities that contribute to your growth. Discipline in learning leads to discipline in other areas of life. It trains your mind to stay engaged and your attention to stay sharp. Another important aspect of growth is unlearning. Sometimes progress requires letting go of outdated beliefs or habits that no longer serve you. Not all knowledge remains useful forever. As you grow, your understanding deepens, and old patterns lose their value. Unlearning makes space for new insights. It helps you evolve instead of staying stuck in old versions of yourself. Recognizing when it's time to release a belief is a sign of maturity and awareness. Surrounding yourself with learners enhances your commitment. Growth-minded people challenge and inspire you. They encourage you to question, explore, and stretch your thinking. When you spend time with individuals who value learning, you naturally absorb their energy. Their conversations stimulate ideas and push you beyond your comfort zone. Being part of an environment that values curiosity keeps your growth consistent and enjoyable. Learning is not limited to books or formal education. Life itself is a classroom. Observation, conversation, travel, and silence all teach valuable lessons. A difficult interaction can teach you patience. A moment of solitude can teach you peace. A new environment can expand your awareness. Every situation, no matter how small, can contribute to your evolution if you remain present. This is why committing to learn daily keeps you awake to life. You stop existing passively and start engaging fully. To maintain momentum, celebrate progress in your learning journey. Recognize when a concept finally makes sense or when a habit begins to change. Acknowledging growth reinforces motivation. It reminds you that your effort is paying off, even in small ways. Gratitude for progress keeps your enthusiasm alive. The goal of learning is not just achievement but enjoyment, the fulfillment that comes from becoming wiser and more capable each day. The more you learn and apply, the more your self-belief grows. You start to see that you can adapt to any situation, master any skill, and overcome any challenge. Learning proves that change is always possible. It keeps your mind fresh and your perspective open. Instead of fearing the unknown, you become curious about it. You start to see life as an ongoing journey of discovery rather than a fixed path. That mindset gives you freedom. When you commit to learning every day and apply lessons instantly, you become an active participant in your own growth. You stop waiting for change and start creating it. Each day becomes an opportunity to improve how you think, how you act, and how you live. Over time, the accumulation of small lessons transforms your character. You become wiser, calmer, and more adaptable. The world no longer feels overwhelming because you've trained yourself to understand and respond thoughtfully. That commitment to keep learning, keep applying, and keep growing is what turns ordinary days into a lifetime of progress. Chapter 60: Train your mind with routines that strengthen emotional control. Emotional control is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. It determines how you respond under pressure, how you handle people, and how you recover from setbacks. The mind, when left untrained, reacts impulsively to everything it encounters. Anger, frustration, anxiety, and doubt take control before reason has a chance to step in. But when you train your mind with intentional routines, you develop the ability to stay calm even when life is chaotic. You begin to act from strength instead of reaction. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them, it means directing them wisely. You still feel deeply, but you no longer let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. Training emotional control starts with awareness. You can't manage what you don't recognize. Each day, observe your reactions without judgment. Notice how your body feels when stress rises, how your breathing changes, and how quickly your thoughts spiral when something upsets you. Awareness gives you a pause between emotion and reaction, and that pause is where growth happens. Instead of reacting automatically, you begin to choose responses that align with your values and your goals. This simple awareness practice builds the foundation of emotional strength. Routine is the structure that makes emotional control reliable. It gives the mind stability, which reduces reactivity. When your days have predictable rhythms, your emotions have fewer chances to pull you into chaos. Start your mornings with a calm routine that centers your attention. Before rushing into the noise of the day, spend a few quiet minutes breathing deeply, writing your intentions, or reflecting on what kind of person you want to be. This short ritual creates psychological grounding. It signals to your brain that you are in charge, not the circumstances around you. Breathing exercises are one of the most effective tools for emotional regulation. Deep, slow breathing activates the body's relaxation response and quiets the nervous system. When frustration or anxiety appears, take a few slow breaths, focusing on lengthening your exhale. This simple act slows the heart rate and clears the mind, allowing you to respond from clarity instead of tension. With consistent practice, controlled breathing becomes automatic, turning intense emotions into manageable moments of awareness. Another powerful routine for emotional control is journaling. Writing allows you to process emotions instead of burying them. When you record your thoughts, you transform vague feelings into specific language. That clarity reduces their intensity. Journaling helps you understand patterns, what triggers your stress, what calms it, and how your reactions evolve. Over time, you start recognizing that many emotional reactions are recycled. They repeat because they're unexamined. By writing them out, you break the cycle. You move from unconscious reaction to conscious reflection. Physical movement also strengthens emotional discipline. Exercise releases built-up energy that often turns into frustration or anxiety when left unexpressed. It resets your mood and clears mental fog. Whether it's walking, stretching, or strength training, consistent movement improves emotional balance. The discipline of showing up for your body carries over to your mind. When you push through physical resistance, you teach yourself endurance, and endurance builds emotional resilience. A healthy routine that combines movement, rest, and recovery keeps emotions steady even during difficult days. Meditation trains your mind to observe thoughts without getting trapped in them. The purpose is not to stop thinking, but to understand that you are not your thoughts. When you practice sitting quietly and observing your mind, you begin to see emotions as passing states rather than permanent truths. Anger, sadness, and fear come and go like weather. You don't have to react to each one. Meditation teaches detachment, not indifference, but perspective. It strengthens the mental muscle that allows you to pause before you act, to choose reason over impulse. Healthy boundaries are another form of emotional training. When you say yes to everything or let others control your time, your emotional state becomes unstable. Boundaries protect your focus and peace. They teach others how to treat you and remind you of your own worth. Emotional control doesn't mean tolerating everything. It means knowing when to step back. Setting boundaries requires courage and consistency, but it builds respect for yourself and from others. With strong boundaries, emotional stability becomes easier to maintain. Nutrition and rest play an often overlooked role in emotional regulation. A tired or malnourished mind cannot process emotions clearly. Poor sleep amplifies irritability and weakens focus, making emotional control harder. Eating balanced meals and maintaining good sleep routines are not luxuries, they're necessities for stability. When your body is supported, your mind functions with clarity. Emotional balance is easier when your physical foundation is strong. Another practice that builds emotional control is reflection at the end of the day. Spend a few minutes reviewing how you handled challenges. Ask yourself what situations triggered strong emotions and how you responded. Could you have paused longer? Could you have spoken with more calmness or understanding? Reflection turns daily experiences into mental training sessions. Every evening becomes an opportunity to refine your self-control and strengthen your awareness. This small practice compounds into lasting emotional maturity. Gratitude can also regulate emotions. When frustration builds, focusing on what's working in your life prevents your mind from magnifying problems. Gratitude doesn't erase emotion, it balances it. It helps you see reality with more accuracy. When you feel angry, remember something that's going well. When you feel overwhelmed, recognize what you've already managed. This perspective stabilizes the mind, reminding you that no single emotion defines your entire experience. Gratitude keeps your emotional state grounded in balance. Another valuable routine is practicing intentional stillness. Modern life keeps the mind overstimulated, constantly switching between tasks and screens. This mental noise reduces emotional tolerance. Creating moments of silence, even for a few minutes, gives your brain space to reset. Sit quietly without music, without distraction, and simply notice your surroundings. The stillness may feel uncomfortable at first, but over time it becomes a sanctuary. In silence, you learn patience, presence, and clarity, three essential pillars of emotional control. Emotional strength also grows when you learn to delay reaction. When a situation triggers you, count to 5 before responding. This short delay allows emotion to cool and reason to return. In that space, you can choose your tone, your words, and your approach. This simple routine prevents regret and reinforces mastery over impulse. Practicing delay in small moments, traffic, disagreements, or stress trains you for bigger challenges. Eventually, patience becomes your natural response. To build emotional endurance, challenge yourself with small discomforts daily. This could mean waking up earlier than usual, holding a difficult conversation, or resisting an unhelpful habit. Each time you face controlled discomfort, you train your mind to stay calm under tension. The purpose is not to chase pain but to increase your tolerance for uncertainty. The stronger your tolerance, the less power emotions have over you. This practice builds quiet confidence, the kind that remains steady even when situations are unpredictable. Positive self-talk is another essential routine. The way you speak to yourself determines how you regulate emotion. Replace self-criticism with supportive internal dialogue. Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," say, "I can stay calm and find a solution." Language shapes emotion. Encouraging thoughts activate confidence, while harsh thoughts feed stress. Speaking to yourself with calm assurance strengthens your ability to control how you feel and react. Learning to release control is also part of emotional training. Not everything in life can be managed, and accepting that truth brings peace. When you stop resisting what you can't change, emotions lose their grip. Acceptance doesn't mean surrendering effort, it means focusing energy only on what's within your reach. This mindset reduces frustration and helps you remain composed in uncertainty. Acceptance transforms emotional struggle into inner freedom. Social awareness enhances emotional control too. Pay attention to how others express their emotions. Observe tone, body language, and energy. When you learn to read people with empathy, you can respond more effectively. Understanding others' emotions helps prevent unnecessary conflict and builds patience. Emotional control extends beyond managing your own reactions. It's about creating harmony in interaction. Maintaining emotional strength requires continuous practice. There will be moments when you lose your composure, and that's part of growth. The goal is not perfection but improvement. Each time you regain balance after being triggered, you reinforce self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can recover. Over time, setbacks no longer destabilize you. They become reminders of your progress. Emotional mastery is not about always being calm. It's about returning to calm more quickly every time. When you train your mind through structured routines, emotional control becomes a lifestyle. You develop a steady rhythm, a calm presence that remains consistent regardless of what's happening around you. Challenges no longer dominate your mood. You move through life with clarity, patience, and purpose. This steadiness influences everything: your relationships, your decisions, your health, and your peace of mind. The disciplined mind is not cold or detached. It's peaceful and focused. It knows when to act, when to pause, and when to let go. And that balance, once developed, becomes your quiet power, a state of strength that no external situation can easily disturb. Chapter 7a: Cultivate strong relationships through honest communication and mutual support. Strong relationships are the foundation of a meaningful life. They shape how you think, how you feel, and how you grow. No one succeeds in isolation, and no one thrives without connection. The people you choose to share your time with influence your mindset, your habits, and your emotional health. Building strong relationships requires effort, honesty, and mutual support. It's not about perfection, but about consistency and trust. When communication is genuine and support is balanced, relationships become a source of energy rather than stress. They give you strength when life feels uncertain and perspective when your vision becomes narrow. Honest communication is the core of every healthy connection. Without honesty, trust can't exist, and without trust, relationships crumble under the smallest pressure. Many people struggle with open communication because they fear rejection, judgment, or conflict. But honesty is not cruelty, it's clarity. It means expressing your thoughts with respect and listening with an open heart. It's about creating space where both people can speak freely without fear. When honesty becomes normal in conversation, misunderstanding fades and real understanding begins. To communicate honestly, you must first understand your own thoughts and emotions. It's difficult to express what you haven't yet processed. Take time to reflect before you speak. Ask yourself what you truly want to say and why it matters. Clarity in your own mind leads to clarity in your words. Speak calmly and directly, without blaming or defending. Use language that focuses on how you feel and what you need rather than what someone else did wrong. This approach invites cooperation instead of conflict. Listening is just as vital as speaking. True listening is more than waiting for your turn to talk. It's about understanding. When someone speaks to you, give them your full attention. Put away distractions and make eye contact. Listen for meaning, not just words. Ask questions to show that you care. People open up when they feel heard, not when they feel analyzed or dismissed. Listening deeply builds connection and safety. It shows that you value the person, not just the conversation. Strong relationships also depend on respect. Respect means recognizing the individuality of the other person, their opinions, boundaries, and emotions. It doesn't require agreement, only understanding. Respect creates an environment where differences don't become divisions. When you treat others with respect, you invite the same in return. Even during disagreements, respect keeps communication constructive. You can discuss opposing views without tearing each other down. This kind of maturity strengthens bonds and deepens trust. Mutual support is the next pillar of strong relationships. Support doesn't always mean fixing someone's problems. Often it means standing beside them while they face them. It's about offering encouragement, empathy, and patience. Support gives people space to grow while knowing they're not alone. It's a balance between giving and receiving. Both sides must contribute. When one person only gives and the other only takes, the relationship becomes heavy and unsustainable. True support feels equal. It flows both ways, adjusting as life changes. Being supportive also means believing in others' potential. Sometimes people lose confidence, and your belief in them becomes the spark that reignites their strength. Simple words of encouragement can have lasting impact. Telling someone that you notice their effort, that they're improving, or that they matter can shift their entire outlook. Encouragement builds resilience, and resilient people create resilient relationships. Boundaries are another essential element of healthy connection. They protect emotional balance and prevent resentment. Boundaries are not walls, they are lines that define respect. When you set boundaries, you communicate what you can give and what you need. It's an act of honesty and self-care. Likewise, respecting someone else's boundaries shows maturity and empathy. Strong relationships honor individuality while nurturing connection. You can be close without losing yourself. Vulnerability deepens relationships. It's the courage to show your real emotions, fears, and hopes without pretending to be perfect. Vulnerability builds authenticity, and authenticity creates closeness. When you share your truth, you give others permission to do the same. Pretending to be fine all the time creates distance, but showing that you have struggles just like everyone else makes relationships human. Openness builds empathy and understanding, reminding both people that growth is a shared journey. Forgiveness also plays a critical role in maintaining strong bonds. Every relationship will encounter misunderstandings or hurt. Holding on to resentment poisons connection, while forgiveness clears space for healing. Forgiveness doesn't mean ignoring pain or excusing harmful behavior. It means choosing peace over bitterness. When you let go of grudges, you release emotional weight that prevents growth. Forgiveness strengthens your heart and creates room for trust to rebuild. Consistency is what turns relationships into long-term strength. Grand gestures may impress, but steady actions build trust. Checking in, showing up, and keeping promises create reliability. Consistency proves that you mean what you say. It also makes people feel secure, which is the foundation of emotional connection. Relationships thrive when both people know they can count on each other, not just in good times, but especially in difficult ones. Emotional awareness enhances communication. Being aware of your feelings helps you express them clearly and calmly. When emotions run high, it's easy to say things you don't mean or interpret others unfairly. Emotional awareness gives you space to pause, breathe, and respond instead of react. This control reduces unnecessary conflict and strengthens understanding. It shows that you value the relationship more than winning an argument. Small acts of kindness can transform relationships. It doesn't take much to make someone feel appreciated. A thoughtful message, a sincere compliment, or a moment of genuine attention can strengthen bonds more than long conversations. Kindness reminds people that they're valued. Over time, these small gestures create a sense of belonging and loyalty. Relationships grow not from perfection, but from consistent care. Conflict, when handled with respect, can bring people closer. It reveals differences that, when understood, lead to deeper connection. Avoiding conflict entirely creates distance because unspoken frustrations grow silently. Addressing issues early, calmly, and honestly prevents resentment from building. Approach disagreements with the goal of understanding, not of being right. When handled well, conflict becomes a tool for growth instead of division. Shared experiences strengthen emotional bonds. Spending time together builds memories that form the emotional foundation of connection. It could be simple activities like cooking, walking, or meaningful conversations. These moments deepen familiarity and trust. Shared experiences remind you why the relationship matters, especially when life becomes busy or stressful. The more positive experiences you build together, the stronger your connection becomes. Appreciation keeps relationships alive. Express gratitude often for someone's presence, effort, or kindness. Never assume that people know how much they matter, say it. Gratitude turns routine interactions into moments of warmth. When appreciation becomes habitual, relationships feel lighter, more joyful, and more secure. People naturally give more when they feel valued. Another way to strengthen relationships is to be dependable during hard times. Anyone can show up during celebrations, but reliability during struggle defines loyalty. Be there when others are hurting, not to solve their problems, but to remind them they're not alone. A calm presence often means more than advice. Your steadiness during their difficulty will never be forgotten. Relationships built on shared strength during hardship last a lifetime. Growth within relationships requires self-awareness. You cannot offer what you don't understand within yourself. Take time to reflect on how your behavior affects others. Recognize patterns that cause tension and be willing to change. Self-awareness prevents defensiveness and allows communication to stay healthy. Strong relationships are partnerships in growth. They evolve as both people learn from each other. Authenticity is the glue that holds genuine connection together. Pretending to be someone you're not eventually leads to emotional exhaustion. When you show up as your true self, you attract relationships that fit your real values. Authentic connections bring peace because they don't require performance. The right people will accept your truth without conditions, and that acceptance allows both sides to grow freely. In every stage of life, the quality of your relationships reflects the quality of your communication and your willingness to support others. When you speak with honesty, listen with empathy, and give without expecting return, you create bonds that endure. These relationships become your anchors. They remind you of your strength during difficulty and your purpose during success. The effort you invest in understanding, patience, and care returns in the form of trust, peace, and belonging. Cultivating strong relationships through honest communication and mutual support is a lifelong practice. It requires daily intention, emotional maturity, and humility, but the reward is immeasurable, a network of connections that nourish your spirit, keep you grounded, and remind you that no journey is meant to be walked alone. Through truth, respect, and care, you create relationships that don't just last, they uplift, heal, and inspire everyone involved. Chapter 80. Act on opportunities quickly while assessing risks and rewards. Opportunity rarely arrives with perfect timing. It often appears when life feels inconvenient or uncertain, and that is why so many people miss it. Acting on opportunities quickly does not mean being reckless. It means having the courage to move before hesitation takes over. The window for action is small because fear grows stronger the longer you wait. When you practice making thoughtful yet swift decisions, you train your mind to recognize possibilities and respond with confidence. Success often favors those who move while others are still doubting. Every opportunity carries both potential and risk. The key is to balance the two instead of letting either one dominate your decision. Acting too slowly can cause regret, but acting blindly can lead to mistakes that could have been avoided. The right approach is to develop a system for decision-making that evaluates both outcomes and consequences clearly. You don't need absolute certainty before acting, you just need enough clarity to take the next step intelligently. Growth happens when you move forward with awareness, not when you wait for guarantees. The first step in seizing opportunity is awareness. Most people overlook chances because they're too focused on routine or distraction. Train yourself to observe your surroundings, listen carefully, and pay attention to changes. Every challenge, interaction, or idea can hold a hidden possibility. Awareness sharpens intuition. The more present you are, the easier it becomes to notice patterns and recognize timing. Many breakthroughs begin as small, almost invisible chances that only a focused mind can detect. Once you notice an opportunity, speed becomes important. Procrastination is the enemy of momentum. When you delay, doubt grows louder. You start overanalyzing, creating imaginary problems, and convincing yourself it's not the right time. The truth is, there is rarely a perfect time. Acting quickly doesn't mean acting without thought. It means acting before fear disguises itself as logic. The faster you make small decisions, the better you become at handling big ones. Action builds clarity, waiting builds confusion. To act decisively, define your values and priorities ahead of time. When you know what matters most, you can evaluate opportunities faster. Every decision becomes simpler when filtered through your principles. If an opportunity aligns with your purpose and moves you toward your goals, take it. If it distracts from your core path, decline it confidently. This clarity prevents hesitation and ensures that your energy is directed where it has the most impact. Assessing risks and rewards is a skill that improves with practice. Instead of avoiding risk, learn to understand it. Write down the possible outcomes, what could go right and what could go wrong. Then ask yourself how you would handle each scenario. This exercise removes emotional distortion and brings objectivity. Often, what we fear most is exaggerated. When you see risks clearly, they lose their power to paralyze you. You begin to realize that uncertainty is not danger, it's possibility in disguise. Reward is not always immediate, and risk is not always failure. Many opportunities pay off slowly, testing your patience before revealing their value. The disciplined person knows how to endure short-term discomfort for long-term benefit. Quick action paired with consistent evaluation keeps progress steady. It's about making decisions that may feel uncomfortable now but lead to strength later. Acting early allows you to learn faster, adapt sooner, and build experience while others are still waiting for reassurance. Learning to act quickly also requires letting go of perfectionism. Waiting for perfect conditions is a subtle form of fear. You tell yourself you're preparing, but in reality, you're avoiding uncertainty. The best way to learn is through movement. You don't have to see the whole path to take the first step. Most of the time, clarity appears after action, not before it. Each decision gives you feedback that helps you adjust your direction. Motion creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Confidence, however, does not mean impulsiveness. It means trusting your ability to handle outcomes, whether they turn out as planned or not. When you move with preparation and presence, you can adapt to results without panic. Assessing risk before acting allows you to create backup plans and minimize unnecessary loss. Wise action combines courage with calculation. You don't jump blindly, you step forward with awareness and readiness to adjust. Small, fast actions build momentum without overwhelming you. Large goals can feel intimidating, but breaking them into smaller moves makes progress manageable. For example, if an opportunity arises to start a new project, take the first step. Schedule a meeting, gather information, or outline a plan. Each small action confirms commitment and reduces hesitation. The more you practice this rhythm, the more natural, decisive action becomes. You start trusting yourself not because everything works perfectly, but because you've proven that you can move and adapt. Acting on opportunities quickly also teaches resilience. Some decisions will bring mistakes or unexpected challenges, but those experiences sharpen judgment. Every misstep carries information about how to make better choices next time. Failure loses its sting when you see it as feedback. Acting quickly means learning faster than those who stand still. The real risk is not in making a wrong move. It's in making no move at all. Progress only happens through participation. Your environment influences how quickly you act. Surround yourself with people who value progress, who encourage movement instead of hesitation. Being around decisive individuals pushes you to think faster and trust your instincts. Likewise, avoid environments where overthinking and fear dominate. Energy is contagious. If you spend time with those who act, you learn to do the same. Supportive environments build courage and reduce the pressure of uncertainty. Intuition plays a strong role in fast decision-making. Intuition is not guessing, it's pattern recognition built through experience. The more you expose yourself to challenges and decisions, the sharper your intuition becomes. You start sensing when something is right or wrong even before logic catches up. Trusting your intuition doesn't mean ignoring facts, it means using both reason and instinct together. The balance between analysis and intuition leads to effective and timely choices. Another habit that improves decision-making speed is reflection after action. Once you act on an opportunity, take time to review the outcome. What worked? What didn't? What can you improve next time? This reflection solidifies lessons and makes future decisions smoother. Reflection transforms action into wisdom. Without it, you risk repeating mistakes or missing insights. Reflection keeps you learning while maintaining momentum. Discipline supports quick action by keeping you prepared. When your routines are organized, your energy is focused, and your goals are clear, opportunities don't catch you off guard. Preparation gives you confidence to move swiftly because you've already done the groundwork. The person who is mentally and emotionally ready acts without hesitation. They don't scramble to decide, they execute what they've already prepared for. Readiness reduces fear because action becomes a continuation of practice, not a sudden leap into the unknown. Patience is also part of smart decision-making. Acting quickly doesn't mean forcing results. Some opportunities need time to mature after the initial action. Once you move, allow space for progress to unfold. Impatience can sabotage good decisions by rushing the process. Move fast to begin, but wait calmly for outcomes to develop. The balance between speed and patience creates sustainable growth. Courage fuels all meaningful action. Every opportunity demands some level of uncertainty. The difference between people who grow and those who stay stuck is not intelligence, it's courage. Acting despite fear builds inner strength. You realize that you don't need to eliminate fear before moving. You simply need to proceed while carrying it. Courage is not a burst of emotion, it's a quiet decision to move forward because standing still costs more. Taking opportunities quickly while assessing risks and rewards creates a habit of movement. It teaches you to trust yourself, think clearly, and respond effectively. Life rewards momentum, not hesitation. Each day presents possibilities, some obvious, others hidden behind challenges. The key is to stay awake enough to notice them and brave enough to act. As you develop this mindset, opportunities no longer feel rare. You begin to create them through preparation, presence, and purposeful action. Over time, this habit of decisive awareness transforms your life. You stop waiting for the right moment and start shaping it. You stop fearing mistakes and start learning from them. You stop living reactively and begin living intentionally. Acting quickly and wisely becomes second nature, a blend of courage, clarity, and adaptability. And as you practice this daily, you realize that opportunities don't just appear for the lucky, they appear for the ready. The moment you train yourself to recognize them, assess them, and move toward them, life starts moving with you. Chapter 9a Master Stress Management using breath, focus, movement, and boundaries. Stress is one of the most common challenges people face, yet it doesn't have to control your life. When unmanaged, it can affect your health, relationships, and ability to think clearly. The key to mastering stress lies in proactive management, not reactive coping. Stress is a signal, not a sentence. It tells you when your mind or body is overextended and invites you to respond intentionally. Learning how to regulate stress transforms pressure from a source of overwhelm into a tool for growth and resilience. Breathing is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to manage stress. The body's nervous system responds immediately to breath. Shallow, rapid breathing signals tension, while deep, controlled breaths send a message of calm. Practicing slow inhalations followed by long exhalations activates the parasympathetic system, reducing heart rate and calming racing thoughts. When stress hits, pause for a moment to focus on your breath. Counting 4 seconds in and 6 seconds out can reset both your body and mind. Over time, this practice becomes automatic, providing a steady anchor even in high-pressure situations. Focus is another essential skill in managing stress. The mind tends to scatter when anxiety rises, jumping from one worry to another. Training focus means choosing where your attention goes. Start by prioritizing tasks in the moment rather than obsessing over everything at once. Breaking problems into manageable steps reduces the feeling of overwhelm. Meditation, mindfulness, or simply dedicating a few minutes each day to concentrated attention strengthens this mental discipline. A focused mind filters out noise, preventing small issues from escalating into larger stressors. Movement has a direct effect on stress levels. Physical activity releases tension stored in muscles and triggers endorphins, which naturally boost mood. It doesn't require intense exercise. Even a brisk walk, stretching, or gentle yoga can reset the nervous system. Regular movement improves energy, increases resilience, and helps you approach challenges with clarity rather than panic. Incorporating short sessions of movement into daily routines prevents stress from accumulating and keeps the body and mind aligned. Boundaries are critical for long-term stress management. Overcommitting, saying yes to every request, or neglecting personal limits leads to constant pressure. Establishing clear boundaries protects your energy and creates mental space for focus and rest. It requires honesty. Communicate what you can handle and what you cannot. Boundaries are not selfish. They are acts of self-respect and foresight. By maintaining them, you prevent burnout and preserve your ability to engage fully in the areas that matter most. Sleep is a cornerstone of stress resilience. A fatigued mind is less capable of managing challenges, and the body responds with heightened tension. Prioritizing consistent, restorative sleep stabilizes emotions and sharpens thinking. Establish a bedtime routine, avoid stimulants before rest, and create a sleep environment free from distractions. Quality rest gives the mind a reset, enabling you to approach problems with calm and creativity rather than reaction and exhaustion. Nutrition also plays a role in stress management. Diets high in sugar, caffeine, or processed foods exacerbate anxiety and affect energy levels. Eating balanced meals with whole foods, protein, healthy fats, and plenty of hydration supports brain function and emotional stability. Small changes, like regular meal times and mindful eating, prevent energy crashes that trigger stress responses. A well-nourished body equips the mind to handle pressure with resilience and clarity. Mental reframing is an effective method for reducing stress. Often, stress arises not from events themselves but from the interpretation of events. By intentionally shifting perspective, you can reduce the intensity of stress. Ask whether a situation is truly urgent or permanent, or consider what opportunity exists within the challenge. Viewing stress as temporary and actionable rather than overwhelming and fixed allows the mind to respond constructively. This approach turns obstacles into exercises of skill rather than sources of defeat. Visualization supports stress management by training the mind to anticipate and respond to challenges calmly. Picture yourself handling a stressful scenario successfully. Visualize the process, your calm demeanor, and the positive outcome. This mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces fear when the situation occurs. The brain cannot easily distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and reality, so practicing calm responses prepares your nervous system for actual stressors. Journaling provides a concrete outlet for stress. Writing down concerns, worries, and thoughts externalizes them from the mind, creating distance and clarity. It allows you to identify recurring stress patterns and reflect on solutions rather than ruminating passively. Journaling also reinforces focus, helping you prioritize actionable steps and track progress. Over time, the practice becomes a mental filter that reduces clutter and increases emotional clarity. Social support is another essential factor. Sharing challenges with trusted friends, family, or mentors relieves mental burden and provides perspective. It's not about transferring responsibility, but about connecting with others who can offer guidance, empathy, or reassurance. Healthy communication prevents stress from building in isolation, which can intensify anxiety. Relationships that provide mutual understanding create a buffer against pressure, helping you remain grounded. Routine is a powerful ally in managing stress. Establishing predictable daily patterns reduces decision fatigue and creates a sense of stability. When basic needs like meals, sleep, and work are organized, the mind reserves energy for unexpected challenges. Routines are not rigid rules, they are flexible frameworks that maintain equilibrium. They prevent unnecessary chaos from escalating into stress. Predictability allows the mind to respond to novel situations without being overwhelmed. Mindfulness reinforces all aspects of stress management. Being present in the moment reduces anxiety about the past or future. Observing thoughts without attachment diminishes their power. Mindfulness exercises, even for a few minutes each day, train the mind to notice stressors without immediate reaction. This awareness creates choice instead of automatic response. Over time, mindfulness strengthens emotional resilience, enabling calm decision-making under pressure. Breath, focus, movement, boundaries, nutrition, sleep, mental reframing, visualization, journaling, social support, routine, and mindfulness combine to form a comprehensive approach to stress mastery. Each element supports the others, creating a system that strengthens mental and physical resilience. Practicing them consistently transforms stress from a debilitating force into a manageable element of life. You learn to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. Stress mastery is not about eliminating challenges. Life will always present pressures, but how you navigate them determines your outcomes. The person who trains in breath, focus, movement, and boundaries responds with composure and efficiency. They conserve energy, think clearly, and maintain perspective. Stress becomes a signal for adjustment rather than a source of panic. The consistent practice of these tools strengthens confidence and enhances performance under pressure. Small daily practices compound into long-term resilience. Spending a few minutes each day on breathing exercises, focused attention, movement, and boundary maintenance prevents stress from accumulating. Habits create automatic responses that reduce the need for constant conscious effort. As these routines integrate into life, stress management becomes second nature. You respond swiftly, clearly, and calmly even when external circumstances are chaotic. Mastering stress ensures that your energy goes where it matters most. It prevents exhaustion, preserves clarity, and allows consistent action toward meaningful goals. A person who controls their stress navigates life with intentionality, making decisions from a place of calm rather than fear. This mastery does not come from avoiding stress, but from practicing effective strategies daily. It transforms pressure into focus, tension into clarity, and challenge into growth. When breath, focus, movement, and boundaries become daily disciplines, you create an inner environment of stability. Challenges no longer dominate your mind, emotions, or body. You move through life with presence, awareness, and choice. Stress remains, but its power diminishes. Mastery lies not in the absence of difficulty, but in the ability to maintain equilibrium while engaging with life fully. This approach cultivates resilience, improves health, enhances relationships, and empowers consistent progress toward goals. Chapter 10 embark on purposeful routines that sustain growth through setbacks. Growth is not a straight path. Life presents setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt that challenge your progress. Without a deliberate approach, these obstacles can derail even the most determined person. Purposeful routines act as the scaffolding that holds you steady during these times. They ensure that even when circumstances are difficult, your habits carry you forward. The routines you build are not merely tasks, they are the framework through which consistency, resilience, and progress are sustained. Every action, repeated intentionally, compounds into lasting improvement. Begin by identifying routines that directly align with your goals. Purposeful routines are not random tasks, they are deliberate actions that strengthen your skills, mindset, and focus. Start small with activities that are achievable daily, ensuring they are meaningful rather than busy work. These routines form a rhythm that guides your energy and attention. The consistency of small, intentional steps is more effective than sporadic bursts of effort. Each repetition builds momentum, making it easier to recover when setbacks occur. Discipline is central to maintaining these routines through challenges. Life will inevitably introduce distractions and temptations to abandon the habits that support growth. Discipline is the commitment to follow through even when motivation wanes. It is the ability to act according to your plan rather than your mood. By adhering to your routines consistently, you create a foundation that carries you through uncertainty. Discipline transforms intention into action, ensuring progress even when circumstances are difficult. Flexibility is equally important. Purposeful routines should adapt to changing situations without losing their core function. When setbacks occur, rigid adherence can cause frustration or burnout. Instead, adjust the routine while preserving its purpose. For example, if a morning exercise is impossible due to travel or illness, find an alternative that still promotes movement. Maintaining the principle behind the routine ensures continuity of growth while accommodating reality. Resilience is built through adaptation, not stubbornness. Reflection strengthens routines by highlighting what works and what needs improvement. Set aside time regularly to review your habits and results. Ask yourself if the routines continue to serve your growth or if adjustments are necessary. Reflection keeps routines relevant and effective, preventing stagnation. It allows you to respond to setbacks with clarity rather than frustration. When you evaluate and refine, your actions remain purposeful and progress continues despite obstacles. Setting clear intentions each day reinforces routines. When you start your day knowing what actions will move you forward, you reduce wasted energy and focus on what matters. Intentionality converts habit into strategy. It gives each activity meaning and prevents routines from becoming mechanical or meaningless. When setbacks challenge your trajectory, a clear intention helps you maintain direction rather than drifting. Purposeful action thrives on clarity and focus. Accountability enhances adherence to routines. Sharing your goals or progress with a trusted individual encourages consistency. Knowing that someone else is aware of your actions motivates persistence. Accountability can be formal, such as reporting weekly progress, or informal, like partnering with a friend for shared challenges. Both forms reinforce commitment and create external support systems that buffer against setbacks. Consistency becomes easier when others recognize and encourage your efforts. Recovery strategies are essential within purposeful routines. Setbacks are inevitable, and routines must include methods for restoration and recalibration. Rest, reflection, and stress management practices are as important as active effort. Recovery prevents burnout and replenishes energy, ensuring that growth continues without interruption. Incorporating these strategies into daily or weekly routines prepares you to face challenges with renewed strength and focus. Incremental progress is more sustainable than drastic change. Purposeful routines emphasize small, manageable steps that accumulate over time. Focusing on micro-improvements ensures that setbacks do not feel catastrophic. Even when progress slows or temporarily reverses, the habit of consistent action keeps you moving forward. The accumulation of minor wins fosters confidence and reinforces commitment to long-term goals. Growth is compounded by repetition, not by occasional leaps. Mindset is a critical component of sustaining routines through setbacks. Believing in the value of your efforts, even when immediate results are absent, creates perseverance. Setbacks are not indicators of failure, they are tests of consistency and adaptability. Purposeful routines cultivate a mindset that sees obstacles as part of the process, reinforcing patience and endurance. A strong mindset ensures that routines continue even when external validation or quick results are lacking. Prioritization within routines prevents overwhelm. Not every task holds equal value, and focusing on high-impact actions ensures that energy is directed toward meaningful growth. Identify the routines that contribute most directly to your goals and protect time for them. Reducing low-value activities frees mental and physical resources to handle challenges. When setbacks occur, prioritization helps maintain focus on the most important actions, keeping progress steady despite adversity. Visualization reinforces the importance of routines. Imagining the long-term impact of consistent action motivates persistence. Picture the cumulative results of sustained habits and the strength you will gain in navigating obstacles. Visualization keeps your routines purposeful by connecting daily action to meaningful outcomes. This mental rehearsal prepares you to continue forward even when motivation fluctuates or setbacks occur. Time management is a structural element of purposeful routines. Allocating specific periods for high-priority actions ensures consistency. Planning ahead reduces reactive decision-making that often undermines routines. Effective scheduling prevents distraction from temporary crises and allows setbacks to be addressed without derailing the entire system. Consistent timing for routines creates predictability, which fosters stability and resilience. Support systems enhance the durability of routines. Engage with mentors, peers, or communities that encourage sustained action and provide guidance during setbacks. External support reinforces internal commitment and offers perspective when challenges appear overwhelming. Purposeful routines thrive when complemented by relationships that nurture growth, provide feedback, and celebrate progress. Collective reinforcement strengthens individual perseverance. Adaptation to challenges is part of routine sustainability. Unexpected obstacles may require modification of methods while keeping the objective intact. Purposeful routines are not rigid. They flex in response to circumstance without abandoning the principle. The ability to adjust while maintaining momentum ensures that growth persists even under pressure. Setbacks test flexibility and determination, and routines provide a framework to navigate both. Mindful engagement in routines prevents them from becoming mechanical. Performing actions with full attention and awareness strengthens their effect. Mindfulness allows recognition of subtle improvements, signals of imbalance, and opportunities to optimize practice. Engaging fully reinforces purpose and ensures that routines maintain value rather than becoming empty obligations. Conscious participation in habitual actions compounds their impact. Celebrating incremental successes motivates adherence. Acknowledging small wins reinforces the value of consistency and encourages continuation. Recognition of progress, no matter how minor, strengthens confidence and maintains momentum through setbacks. Celebrations do not need to be elaborate. Awareness of achievement is enough to sustain energy and commitment. Positive reinforcement nurtures persistence in challenging times. Purposeful routines transform setbacks into stepping stones. By embedding structure, reflection, flexibility, and focus into daily habits, progress continues even when obstacles arise. Each repeated action reinforces skill, mindset, and resilience. Over time, consistent practice through adversity builds a compounding advantage. Routines provide a reliable anchor, keeping effort aligned with intention regardless of external circumstances. Growth becomes inevitable for those who embrace deliberate, purposeful practice. By committing to routines with clear purpose, reflection, adaptation, and support, you create a system that endures setbacks while promoting continuous improvement. Life will challenge you, but with structured action and consistent effort, setbacks lose their power to derail your progress. Purposeful routines sustain growth, cultivate resilience, and transform obstacles into opportunities for mastery. Daily dedication transforms routines from habits into instruments of long-term success, ensuring that no challenge permanently halts your advancement.